Okay, today we're going to make a Houdini digital asset using the asset menu here in the top menu bar. We're going to start by taking a grid, pressing enter to place it at the origin. Then we're going to click on the sphere tool and also press enter to place it at the origin. We're going to dive down to the geometry level, change its primitive type to primitive, and using these handles and the control and shift keys, we're going to scale around its center to make it smaller. If we go back to the object level, we'll have the sphere selected. We can now use the copy to points tool to copy to this, select the grid, and now we've got spheres on all the points of the grid. And if we go over to our network editor, you'll see that we have a single object here called sphere object. We're going to change that to grid. And under there we have a copy node and the spheres and the grid coming together. Now we want to make this a little more random, so what we're going to do is we're going to press the tab key, type scatter, and place that down. This node, if we change the points to, let's say, around 100, will give us a nice, more random look. And if we go in and relax that, get a little bit more random there. Now, if we want to repeat, so we've got this nice collection of points randomly placed onto the object. If we want to repeat this, the nodes that are actually doing the work are these three nodes here. We'd like to turn those into an asset. So we're going to go to the asset menu and create new digital asset from selection. It collapses it into a subnet and allows us to create a tool, let's say bubbles, and accept. Now this brings up the edit type properties. We're just going to press accept for now, and what we're going to do is go to the asset menu and say lock bubbles and save changes. So now we have a tool that we can use over and over again. So if we go back up to the object level, we can hide the grid. Let's go to the create and put down another box, dive down to its level and go tab digital asset bubbles, and now we have spheres copied onto there. The problem is that we have no control over it. We can't determine the size of the spheres, we can't control the number of points, we can't control the color of it. So what we'd like to do is continue to work with it. So we're going to dive down, and as you can see, we can't do it right now because it's locked. So we need to take that asset and we need to unlock it. So we're going to unlock bubbles. Now we can continue to work on it. I'm going to go tab, color, and that will allow us to put a color node, let's just set that to red, that is feeding into the copy. We set the attributes to use the point attributes, and then we will get our sphere with red dots. So this gives us one axis of control, which we've now added some color. But what we also like to do is promote some of the parameters from here into this interface. So we're going to go in and say edit properties, bubbles. Now this gives us the type property window, and if we go parameters, you'll see there's a place for us to build a user interface for this particular node. So we're going to go back to here and we're going to pick some special parameters like the total count. And we're going to do that, and we're just going to say points. We're going to take the color, and we're going to promote that. And now we've got the color of that. If we want to, we could take the sphere. Let's take the radius x and just call that radius. Now we're only going to bring one of the radiuses over, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and copy it to there, relative reference. And then we're going to take it and we're going to copy it to their relative reference. So there we can control one radius and it'll control all three. Now, each one of these are going to be the attributes that we have, and what we want to do is set some limits for them. So this one we're going to set a range of 1 to 500. The color is okay, and the radius we're going to set a range of 0 to 0.5. Okay, and that gives us a pretty good control. We're going to go up, we're going to go accept, and go Asset, Lock Asset, Bubbles. Save changes. Now, if we go back up to the object level, you'll see, or go rather to this level, you'll see that we now have the ability to change the color, the number of points, can add more points, and make the radius of each one separately. What's interesting though is if we go back up to the object level and bring our grid back and dive down into there, you'll see the same asset that's being used in both places can also be controlled here. So for instance, if we want to create blue points there and we want to make more points and we want to make the radius a little bigger. And there we go. We've created a digital asset that can be used over and over again using the new asset menu.